Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at 3 more of these incredible PNSO minifigures, and this time we don't really have any kind of a theme going on with them, but 3 very cool figures. We do have Bardi the Olorotitan, Morris the Ouranosaurus, and Hehe the Liaoceratops. 3 very cool looking figures. Of course you get the shot there in the background of the habitat of each figure, which we'll be able to take a better look at when I actually open it. And now they're all falling down, so let's go ahead, just break them out of their package, and we'll take a look at their habitats from there. And there we are, we've got them out of the package. All look incredible at first glance, I will say that without question. Of course, with Bardi the Olorotitan, you can see the habitat that this dinosaur lived in, an absolutely beautiful picture that they've got there displayed. And that artwork is just beautiful. They honestly just take your breath away. Every time you open one of these, the artwork is just so incredible. Words just cannot describe just how incredible. Fantastic. Really beautiful. Then you've got Morris the Ouranosaurus. Incredible, just like I expected. Fantastic artwork on the inside. Man, these are just so nice all the time. I just can't even get over how nice they are. And of course you've got Hehe the Liaoceratops. You can see the habitat, just kind of a misty looking area that it's got going on there. And then the inside is just jaw-droppingly beautiful. Honestly, that just is incredible looking. Man, PNSO just does such great work. And of course we've got the figures themselves right here. So let's go ahead and just get a closer look at all 3 of these minifigures right now. So we will start with the Olorotitan, and wow, look at how incredible this looks. That detail of the entire head sculpt is just jaw-droppingly awesome. The eye looks to be painted absolutely perfectly and appears to have somewhat of a gloss to it, as you can see it shining here when I turn it. That head crest is incredibly well sculpted. You can see all sorts of cracks and crevices throughout the head sculpt there, and the overall crest sculpt. It looks just beautiful. There's an insane amount of detail in the head sculpt of this figure for how small it is. Just ridiculous how beautifully and really honestly perfect this looks. You can even see the mouth sculpted out there. The entire beak looks really good. You can see the nostrils are there, they're present. The entire sculpt work all around the eye looks really good. And all the very small minute details that would be included in the head sculpt are all present. The eye is also very beautifully painted on this side. Man, they just continue to impress me. This actually might be my new favorite minifigure just by looking at the head sculpt alone. And I continue to say this in every video, and that just goes to show you how continuously impressive these figures are. As we start to make our way down the neck, you can see all sorts of skin detail, all kinds of wrinkles in the skin, and somewhat of a skin folding as the head is turning to the right. So you can see the skin starting to bunch up a little bit. You can even see some slight skin folds here on the bottom, and some very nice scale work on the underside of the throat, and you can see lots of beautiful skin folds and wrinkles on this side as well, really showing you the sheer size of the animal. Honestly, with the way that the skin is sculpted, it just gives you that very large animal feel. You can see the little bumps here running down the back of the neck on both sides. They look really quite incredible. Coming down here, the shoulder blade is nicely elaborated, and we run down into these perfectly beautiful looking hadrosaur arms here in the front. Very nice sculpt work, and the paint of course is really beautifully done, as always with PNSO. Everywhere I look, I'm seeing all sorts of different tones and shading and beautiful coloration all over the place, giving this a very realistic and real living animal type of a look. The ribs are quite nicely sculpted there, very present. And then you move back here into the hip bone, very beautifully elaborated through the skin, giving you a very good idea of the overall bone structure of the animal. Nice musculature here in the thigh, and then you move down into the calf. Again, some more very beautiful musculature, and the feet are again very nicely sculpted in the back, just like they were in the front. And then you come up into the tail, and you again see all sorts of creases in the skin and cracks and crevices as I try to turn it here, giving you a really good idea of the incredible sculpt and detail that is put into this, the very minute details. The overall body has a very nice curve to it, with a somewhat nice looking curve here at the end, but a very natural looking curve, honestly. Looking at this side, you can see the shoulder blade again, very nicely elaborated, and you can really get a good idea of the musculature here of this front leg, and you can also really get a good idea of the motion of the front leg, as the creases here in the folding of the joint are really quite present, and show you again the movement of the arm. Beautifully done. The rib cage there you can again see, and the beautiful skin texture and detailing. Really, really incredible stuff. That hip bone looks great back here as well. Again, showing you that bone structure, and you can see the musculature of the calf and the thigh on this side as well. And then you move down to the foot, beautifully sculpted. And then you run out the length of the tail, and again, that incredible sculpt work is everywhere. Even on the underside, it just looks fantastic. It really, really does. So this is an incredible Hadrosaur, possibly my new favorite mini. Again, the paint is just really, really beautifully applied. You can see it's got like this, almost like a sepia type brown up here on the head, and then you run down the neck and you can see a few different shades of green and almost like a bluish green on the lower half, and it just blends so well and so naturally. And then you can see the underside is a mixture of like a white and a brown kind of wash, I think, has been included, and it really makes all the detail pop, makes this look like a very, very real looking animal. Then we move to the Ouranosaurus, something that I really feel like always kind of gets the shaft as far as figures go. You don't see too many figures of this species, and I've never been able to understand why. You would think with it having such a similarity to Spinosaurus with that big sail, and there are just tons and tons of Spinosaurus figures all over the market, that you would get more figures of this species, but nope, I don't know why. So thank God for PNSO bringing us a figure of it right here. Starting up here with the head sculpt, again, it looks really, really nice, really beautiful detailing all over the head. The eye looks to be nicely painted, just a black color, but very good, and it's no sloppiness. You can see there's a slight gloss as I turn it. You can kind of see it shine. The mouth is nicely sculpted there. Looks beautiful. You can see the nostrils as well. Look at that head sculpt. That just looks beautiful. Really, really nice. Again, the eyes are painted beautifully on this side as well. And then we move down the neck, and you can start to see a lot of folding of the skin, lots of creases in the skin, as the dinosaur has its head turned to the right a little bit. We come down into the shoulder blade. You can see the shoulder blade is elaborated. And then down here into the arms, again, that beautiful transition from that green down into that brown in the hands just really looks so nice and so natural. The paint on these figures continues to impress me more and more every time I see one, because they're just so small, but there's just so much paint included, it just blows me away. And then we come up, we can look into the stomach here. You can see the rib cage somewhat showing. It is definitely present, and again, incredible skin detail all over the place. You can kind of see the skin pulling away from the body here with the rear leg that's stretched back a little ways, and you can get a good idea just in general of the bone structure of this animal, as well as I turn it, just really showing you the way the dinosaur is put together. It honestly makes me feel like if I cut them open, I'd find the bones and everything underneath, and that is a big time compliment to pay toward any company when you see something like that. And then here's the hip bone, again, very nicely present. Beautiful skin detail, lots of creases in the skin. As we come down the leg, there isn't too much as far as skin folding or anything in this leg, or any of the legs honestly, because they are all really quite nicely stretched out. So overall they look exactly as they should, and there's that beautiful transition to that nice brown coloration on the feet again. And then we look here at the tail, lots of again folding of the skin, creases in the skin, and beautiful skin detail that run out the length of the tail. And the overall sail really looks beautiful as well as far as the sculpting and the detailing goes. And that beautiful blue just makes the entire figure just so striking and so majestic looking, honestly. It's just really, really nicely done. Coming down the neck on this side, again, some more of that skin folds in the creases in the skin. We get down to the shoulder area, and we can see the arm here is a little bent, this front leg. So you can see a little bit of the folding here on the joint of the arm, that beautiful brown on the foot, and then again we can see the rib cage in the stomach region. Going back into the hip bone and then that beautiful musculature of the rear leg. And you can see that this leg is a little bit pushed forward more so compared to the opposing leg, and it's bunching the skin up a little bit here in the stomach. So very nice attention to detail. And then we come back into the tail and beautiful sculpting of the skin, honestly, back here. Lots of hanging skin and kind of skin folds and stuff. So incredible work on this side as far as that goes. And then there's that beautiful sail again, that very, very striking looking sail. I really think that this paint scheme is so bright and vibrant, but so natural looking and really, really nicely done. It honestly, again, doesn't look like paint. It looks like body color, and it just is so beautiful. And then to the first of these three that actually has a base, we've got the Liaoceratops. And starting up here at the head sculpt, this is one of the few dinosaurs that you get that actually have an open mouth, which a lot of these minifigures seem to have closed mouths because it's honestly going to be pretty hard to really sculpt out the inside of the mouth of these figures, but it looks super cool on this one. You can see a very striking pattern as far as the paint that is applied to the head. Love that bluish coloration. The eyes look to be painted very nicely. No sloppiness. And they are a greenish color, which I think really accents the face, makes it look very cool. The overall sculpting of the head and all the detail around it looks incredible as always. You see the nostrils sculpted very nicely, that beak, and then again the kind of side spike here sticking out of the side of the head. All looks incredible. The overall head sculpt of this is just fantastic. And then we start to run down the neck. You can see some of that beautiful skin detail and lots of wrinkles and creases in the skin on this one here as well. You move down into the shoulder blade, and you can see that that is nicely elaborated. Down into the arms, the hands and everything look great. There's very, very big bulky scales on this figure. Looks very cool. And again, the paint looks to be applied really nicely. Lots of different colorations, lots of different tones of color all over the place. The hip bone is nicely elaborated, and you can see the entire spinal column is also nicely elaborated. You move down here into the leg, you can see the knee sticking out there, and then down here into the feet, which it's basically just walking along a rocky area. Almost maybe looks like a river's edge type of an area. And then coming up into the tail, some more very nicely sculpted scales the whole way out. Again, looking at this side, you can see that those scales are just incredible looking all over the place. They truly are. The scale work on this is just staggeringly beautiful. Shoulder blade on this side again. And those wonderful hands and arms. You can kind of see the rib cage, it looks like a little bit. And you can really see the way the skin is reacting to this left rear leg, kind of pushing up into the stomach right there. So that's beautiful attention to detail as always. Again, that scale work looks fantastic the whole way out of these legs. They really look beautiful, and the whole way out of the tail. And the paint is really beautiful as well. It's a very natural color, but it has again some white here and there and some black stripes that just give it a very striking look. And then of course there is that head crest, that frill with that beautiful striking blue and almost a dull purple up here on the top of the head. Looks fantastic, and yet again a very impressive minifigure. As always with these PNSO minis, they are really, really small. For a size, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 3.5 inches on the Olorotitan, or about 9 centimeters. And for a height, about 1.5 inches, or around 4 centimeters. For the Ouranosaurus, you're looking at about 3.5 inches, or about 9 centimeters in length. And for a height, would be probably up on the sail, so it's about 1.75 inches, or about a little under 4.5 centimeters. And for the Liaoceratops, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about a little over 3, about 3.25 inches actually, or about 8 centimeters. And for a height, you're looking at a little under 1.5 inches, or a little bit under 4 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is the Papo-Rex. As always, completely dwarfing them. I get the feeling that our Papo-Rex buddy here really loves these reviews of these minifigures because it kind of makes him feel like he's Godzilla in size to these other dinosaurs. But again, should give you a pretty good idea of just how small these minifigures are and just how impressive they are for the sheer amount of insane detail and sculpt included in something that is this small. It is beyond impressive. So undoubtedly, these are 3 jaw-droppingly beautiful minifigures. There's another company out there called Kyoto that makes incredible minifigures, and then you of course have the Jurassic World minifigures. But I can say with complete honesty that these PNSO minifigures put both of those other brands to shame when it comes to just how insanely nice the minifigures are. These things just look jaw-droppingly awesome every single time, and I will continue to use that phrase till the end of time when it comes to these figures, because they are jaw-dropping. If you purchase some of these and you actually get them out and look at them in person, I'm pretty sure you're going to have that same response, because they honestly just blow me away every single time with the insane amount of sculpt and detail, not to mention the extremely realistic looking and very nicely applied paint that is on these figures. They always just look so beautiful. There's just so many different colors and variation of color that they've found ways to cram into these tiny figures, but not ever make them look sloppy in any way, shape, or form. They always just look very natural, very real, very consistent, and really, really beautiful all the time. I don't know how PNSO does it. I honestly don't know. Being someone that paints dinosaurs, I could not even begin to paint these minifigures as nicely as PNSO themselves have done here. So these are 3 more surefire wins. Of course, you've got 3 more somewhat obscure species that you really don't see get figures very often. So that's another huge plus for me when it comes to these minifigures, is that you consistently get very obscure species that you don't get figures of more often than not. So for PNSO to be making some, I am super appreciative of that fact. Again, I don't ever recall an Olorotitan. I've seen Ouranosaurus, but there's been very few, and that's again a very overlooked species that I would expect to be much more common in figure form than it is. And then of course Liaoceratops, I don't really recall too many of those in the past either. So 3 fantastic minifigures. PNSO is just continuing to kill it with these minifigures, and these are 3 more highly recommended minis when it comes to my opinion. So if you want to buy these guys, I will throw links in the description to each and every one of these on the Amazon PNSO store, and I will throw a link to the entire box set where you can buy all 48 figures, because trust me, it is worth the price of admission. So go ahead and go buy yourself some minis, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.